Could you explain a little bit how the categorization works?
Right. Okay, let's get into it. Okay. So you have two main big categories, like two main big families. One is the Junmai one and the non-Junmai. So Junmai literally means pure rice. So that sake was only made with rice, koji, yeast, and water. That's it. And if it's a non-Junmai, it's because there's distilled alcohol added to the mix.
Okay.
And so you can already choose. It's either if you see the word Junmai on the label, of course, if it's gonna be in Junmai. When it's a non-Junmai, usually just don't see the word Junmai on the label. The difference, again, rule of thumb between Junmai and non-Junmai is that most likely a Junmai kind of sake is going to have a better umami, whilst a non-Junmai is going to be a little bit more elegant. And then within these two big families, depending on the polishing ratio, you have different categories. And so you have Junmai Daiginjo, which is polished up to 50%. Then Junmai Ginjo is polished up to 60%. And if it's just Junmai, it means that we don't necessarily know the polishing ratio. So it could be anything. Lots of time is around 70%, but it's an unwritten rule. Mm-hmm. And so for the non-Junmai family, you have the same names. So you have Daiginjo again, but of course without the Junmai.
Okay.
And then you have Ginjo, and then Honjozo, which is polished up to 70%. And then Futsusho, which is another mystery because, again, we don't necessarily know the polishing ratio for that one too.
So two big categories,
yes.
And then different levels of polishing,
yes.
basically. And you said Junmai is kind of the basic ingredients and only those, and
yes.
maybe a more traditional taste. But you use the word elegant for the others.
Yes.
Does it mean that the non-Junmai is maybe more rich, maybe more surprising at times, where you don't expect certain flavors to be in sake and you find them there?
It's really difficult to speak in such a big categories. The thing with non-Junmai, because there's distilled alcohol added to the mix, is going to bring out the aromatics a lot. And so you can feel the aromatics better. But on the other side, because there's distilled alcohol added, it's going to make it a little bit sturdier. So it's going to be easier for that sake to be enjoyed at room temperature or warm. Maybe Junmai sake, especially Junmai Daiginjo or Junmai Ginjo, not all of them taste at their best when they are warm. So you can enjoy better when they're chilled.